Welcome everyone to episode 110 of the Chris Parrish podcast. How is everyone doing today? That's right. We are having a great Sunday. This, by chance, if you're an NFL fan, last week of the regular season, as a Saints fan, I'm conflicted. Do I want the team to win? Do I want the team to lose? We win. We finish over those Falcons, those dirty birds. We lose. We kind of give the little kick in the ass of the Buccaneers. So it's a win-win scenario no matter where you kind of go. But yeah, hopefully everyone bet safe if you're betting on this week. But the safe bet is watching the Chris Parrish podcast every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. That's right. And the safe bet is going to my link tree down in that bottom corner and hitting on the follow, hitting all those notifications that allow you to support the Chris Parrish podcast and help us grow. And if you're also wanting to click all these links, make sure you're checking out the Turnbuckle affiliation program on turnbucklestudios.org. And that gives you access to all of the great things on there. And if you want to hit a /join, you can go straight to the help section and you can look and see if you want to become a part of the Turnbuckle affiliation program. Or maybe you want to go and check out Beercade YEG on all their socials, and that is something you can find down in the description below. And you can go and you can check out anytime Beercade is just having any sort of WWE, PLE, or any sort of AEW pay-per-view for a free showing, and you get a chance to go check out all their fun activities, whether it's their games, whether it's their menu, whether it's the atmosphere itself. Beercade YEG is the place to be when it comes to pro wrestling in Edmonton, and that is why it's a proud sponsor of the Chris Parrish podcast. Now, anybody want to talk about Smackdown just a little bit? Do we want to talk about the fact that we got a new United States Women's Champion in Julia? Do we want to talk about the fact that he might always be ready, but we found out he is also not finished? Matt Cardona is now officially WWE and a part of the Smackdown roster. We also saw Trick Williams decide to make a decision as he signed with SmackDown and he interrupts Sami Zayn? Or do we want to talk about the 3 stages of hell stipulations finally being addressed? It was a jam-packed 3-hour SmackDown as we have Star 3 Fan Gaming coming in. What's up, my man? How are you doing today? Appreciate you. We're just kicking things off. We're going to recap a little SmackDown. Who on their bucket list or even on their bingo card had Randy Orton returning on SmackDown? I know I didn't, and I had a great time watching him. I think he was truly missed. And he just shows that he's one of the main stars in WWE still. We're seeing all these stars choose to either walk away or retire, whether it's John Cena no more, whether it's AJ Styles saying 2026 is going to be his last year, whether it's the rumored Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho possibly retiring in 2026. We don't know, but what a hit that would be. We know Randy Orton is here and he wants to continue, and he is back, and he lets his intentions be known that Cody Rhodes, he might be a friend, but you have the undisputed championship, and Randy Orton wants that. And I think that's great. I think that's a great direction, because how long have we been wanting a Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes match for the undisputed championship? And I think we would all love that to be around the WrestleMania time. I think so. So if by chance WrestleMania rolls around this April, why not? Why not go with Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Yeah, somebody's got to turn. Somebody's got to make things interesting. I say it's going to be Randy Orton. Chat, I'm going to let you say, who do you think Cody Rhodes is going to defend that undisputed championship against? If it's Randy Orton, does Randy Orton go a little into his own head and maybe listens to the voices a little too much and maybe turns on Cody Rhodes? I think that'd be a lot of fun. Now, what we also saw was the end of the feud on SmackDown. We saw the end of Damian Priest and Aleister Black, and let me tell you something, 6 months, they were beating the crap out of each other, but for 6 months, we saw a great story. I really enjoyed Damian Priest and Aleister Black. It gave them both something to do, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. It kind of it gives you a reason to care for Damian Priest and again and kind of see, okay, this is kind of how he gets back into that world title picture. And then we finally saw some for Aleister Black where we want to see him going towards a championship in some way. Whether it is that United States title or maybe he goes to that undisputed championship as well. But it also gives Aleister Black a direction. Plus, we got to see the pairing of him and his wife, Zelina Vega. So now there's an extra dynamic to the Aleister Black character because of this feud. So no matter if you thought 6 months was too long, but what we did see was an evolution of both the characters, and they both came out of it with a fantastic ambulance match on SmackDown. And yes, we saw Rhea Ripley in the corner of Damian Priest as she comes out of the ambulance to equalize the Zelina Vega issue. But at the end of the day, we got that feel-good story. The good guy won, and it just shows you how two people, and in this case, 4 people, actually benefited from one feud. I think now we can even look at Zelina Vega in a light that this allows us to maybe see if she's going to become a contender for a championship. Is there a feud with Rhea Ripley kind of around the corner? Probably not, but there's an open-ended story there. Because as much as they got in each other's faces in business, it was never directly. But there's still that wound that may have a later date. So it'll be very interesting to see, what they do with Zelina Vega, what they do with Aleister Black, and what they do with Damian Priest, all moving forward. Because what we do know with Rhea Ripley is she'll be challenging for the Women's Tag Team Championships with her partner, Io Sky, this Monday, tomorrow, on Monday Night Raw against the Kabuki Warriors. So make sure you're checking out the Raw Patrol as we will have everything settled. And guess what? Your boy's going to be there in full. So there's no run-in. I'm there because tomorrow, January 5th, the 1-year anniversary of WWE on Netflix, it's going to be big. We got Braun Breaker. Braun Strowman, he don't work there no more. We got Braun Breaker challenging CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be big. We have that women's tag team title match. We know that's going to be big. Maxine Dupree puts her Intercontinental Championship on line against Becky Lynch, and we know that's going to be big. And just like Star 3 Fan Gaming coming in, the Stranger Things are crossing over. So things are going to get a little weird. Not to mention all the rumors about LA Knight, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, and even Chad Gable all could be appearing. Have you seen how jacked Chad Gable's looking right now? I mean, there's no way he can even be El Grande Americano. He won't even fit in the singlet. So I think that just absolutely just takes away any speculation that he was ever El Grande Americano. He does look jacked. It's disgusting, but impressive at the same time. Now, the big question is, if Chad Gable does return, do we see American Alpha take that next step on Raw? Just like what we saw the Judgment Day do when Liv Morgan came back. I think there's a bunch of questions there. So I'm very much looking forward to this. And then you also have to look, well, you got two Creeds and you got a Chad Gable. Do they even start something with the Americanos? Because we know there's three of those. So whatever the case may be, like I'm locked into wherever this goes because I think when Chad Gable comes back, I think American Alpha is going to turn babyface. I really do. Maybe we even see Judgment Day versus American Alpha. Who would say no to that? If Roman Reigns comes back, do you think he costs Braun Breaker the WWE World Championship? We do know that as of late, it was Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns, and then Braun Breaker has been taking a couple little jabs at Roman Reigns over the last little while. So could this kind of be the payback for the man we acknowledge as our tribal chief, Roman Reigns? As we have Chris Best coming in, and I want everybody in the chat just to understand one thing. Yesterday was his birthday, so if we can give Chris Best, CBRS Entertainment, a happy birthday. But he's coming in saying we will for sure see the Creed Bros throw their name in the hat for the hunt for the tag titles. So he's confident. He's very confident that the Creeds are coming for gold, as the Usos last week became your new WWE World Tag Team Champions for the 9th time. So congratulations to Jimmy and Jay. I actually do like the fact that the Usos are back in the tag division. It does give a little bit of name recognition back to the tag team division. Now we know there's a little bit more onus because Jay Uso for the last 2 years has been primarily featured on Raw and featured very well. So I don't think that's going to stop because he's in the tag division now. In fact, I think that's only going to give the tag team title more exposure and a little bit more stock on the show. So I think this is a great thing for the tag team division on the Raw side. And I can only imagine what's next with the Usos. Is it a rematch with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee? Is it a new face? Like Chris Best said, the Creed brothers are right there. Could we even see somebody new come into the fold? Who knows? We've been seeing a bunch of NXT people come up, just like on SmackDown, where I mentioned Trick Williams is there. He decides to interrupt Sami Zayn. And now we're looking like we're going towards the Sami Zayn Trick Williams feud. We also know that Jordan Grace is on SmackDown, or at least it appears to be a SmackDown. Because even though she didn't technically sign anywhere, she did say Jade Cargill kind of made it a little easier to decide. And then we also saw the big one that I think everyone knows just a couple weeks ago, Joe Hendry. It is being rumored that he is going to be a SmackDown guy moving forward. Time will tell. We didn't see him on the last Friday edition, but I am thinking that during this European tour that WWE has coming up, I think he'll be heavily featured in there as well. So yeah, by the way, I'm pretty sure I can firmly say this. Both the Raw Patrol and SmackDown Security Detail will still be airing on their same times on the times that we're announcing and advertising, even though the shows themselves may be taped or done earlier in the day. So just a programming note for everyone. And if by chance you need to know what time those are, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information with our calendar video. Yeah, new year, still samely calendar. Nothing's changed on that end. So check this out.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
So there you have it. Those are all the times for all the shows. And I will also let you know, if you want to go to turnbucklestudios.org/awards, you can still vote on your choices for the Turnbuckle Talk Awards. So that is still something that is going on. Make sure you get your vote in. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff, just like you're going to turnbucklestudios.org and you're doing everything you can to support Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Because, come on, you know the spiel. Episodic shows, you get to meet the team. You have a chance to see if you want to join the team. You have all these opportunities to go and just have some fun. You know what? I dare you to go. I dare you. I double dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it. Maybe after the show, though. So we had a lot of NXT involvement and call-ups so on SmackDown, and you can only assume we're going to get a few on Raw as well. I didn't even name them all, too, by the way. So, but let me know in the chat what is your favorite, or who was your favorite surprise on SmackDown, as CBS Entertainment coming in saying Jordan's doing basically what Trick did, and we don't know where Oba will be as well. I do believe Oba Femi is primed to be a Raw guy, and I think it is safe to say that, as I do think we know that he had that little bit of a interaction with Drew McIntyre, but I do think that is not going to be much more than just what we saw. It's just something there. Yeah, I do think Oba will be on Raw. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Oba is a part of that vision, whatever Seth is when he comes back. I will actually say I think he's going to be a part of that. And if the rumors are true that Seth is going to come back with his own version of a vision, who better than Oba Femi to be kind of his big man? Kind of like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are kind of each other's big man. Who's to say? But yeah, no, I mean, Jordan Grace, like I said, also didn't technically sign anywhere. She never made a decision. But when that you know what, the SmackDown Women's Champion, the WWE Women's Champion, Jade Cargill, comes around and she calls herself that bitch, she kind of made it a little easier for Jordan Grace to decide. No, I mean, she even said it herself. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because Trick never identified in any way where he was leaning. He just said, one show's offering him a lot of money, so what are you doing? It was just that ploy. Plus, knowing how giddy Adam Pearce got, I don't think anybody wanted to see that. That was a little weird on Monday. I haven't even seen him get that giddy for a Rick Ross prank. But that's nor here nor there. But what I did find about SmackDown that I do want to kind of talk about is the fact that we saw a complete game-changing episode. We saw a mix of a lot of new talent, and it wasn't just here they are, they're here now. No, if you looked at who they interacted with, whether it was with Trick Williams and Sami Zayn, that is somebody who is right there in... He's been right around that title scene for the last little while. In fact, Sami Zayn even said later in the show, as he met with Cody, that he's looking to take that championship off Cody. He wants and he's gunning for that championship. And now that you have Trick kind of tied there, you're tying Trick Williams to a guy who's trying to link himself to the world championship. Therefore, by association, Trick Williams, who also said he's on SmackDown to be champion, I think was a great statement for Trick to be made. By the way, he looked like $1,000,000, and I think that was absolutely fantastic. Just like absolute fantastic. Kit Wilson's new theme, yeah, pretty good. And I love the fact that they're making use of Kit Wilson once again. Then now there's rumors that Kit Wilson is being looked at as kind of a Heath Slater-esque fall guy for a lot of people, as he was put in that position to welcome in another new superstar into SmackDown, Matt Cardona. We saw him reprise Zack Ryder during the last time in his Now tournament, but now he is finally in WWE. Matt Cardona is there. So how do we feel about Matt Cardona on SmackDown in WWE? I think this is a fantastic decision. In fact, I would love to see Matt Cardona get heavily featured on SmackDown, but I will say SmackDown seems to be very babyface heavy right now. So yeah, I do think we need a little bit more heels on the show. Speaking of heels, we had a heel women's United States match. Julia becomes your new U.S. champion. That was absolutely huge. I don't think anybody saw that coming. We know that Michin suffered a shoulder injury during the holiday break, so we did not get that advertised Jade Cargill Michin match. But what we did get was a United States title match, and they didn't disappoint. But I have to wonder if Chelsea Green and Alba Fire are going to be going into that tag team championship kind of spot, as I do think we're going to see probably a team, whether it's Alexa, Charlotte, maybe Rio and Io at some point. I don't think they're going to be a team for very long. So I do think it just makes sense to add a women's team in Alba Fire and Chelsea Green. So I think that'll be very intriguing. Plus, with Chelsea also being one half of the mixed AAA tag team champions, I'm wondering if we're going to see Ethan Page sometime soon, and that very well could be a feud with Matt Cardona. And yeah, I think that'd be very intriguing because you have kind of Matt's husband, or Chelsea's husband, going up against Chelsea's tag team partner. That's a dynamic. And then once again, talked about Joe Hendry being on SmackDown just a couple weeks ago. That's another babyface right there. So something's got to give here. And I do believe that's going to be a thing. I do also expect, and this is just based on the numbers in, numbers out, that whenever Jacob Fatu returns, I do think he's going to be a Raw superstar when he comes back. It'd be a great way of separating him from everything he's done on SmackDown and then kind of taking him back. And I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe Bronson Reed was the guy who took him out. It would give Bronson Reed something to do. It puts Jacob Fatu right into a big storyline right away, going up against the Vision. So something right there. Plus, let's talk about Raw. Because since we're putting guys over to Raw, kind of in this whole thing, the amount of people scheduled to return or even being rumored is insane. CBS is coming in saying, I kind of expect Cardona to be the one who turns heel. Also, he could be appointed to be the first man in the Chelsea Green faction. That would not surprise me. That would not surprise me at all. But I know there's something about Matt Cardona right now that, at the very least, I think I give him to the Rumble as a babyface. I'll go all the way there because there's still that oh my God, it's Matt Cardona kind of thing. He's still kind of a new toy on the show, so why not? But Raw, let's stay on the track here because tomorrow is going to be such an amazing episode of Raw. We know about the 3 title matches, but what we don't know is what else could happen. We know Chris Jericho is a free agent. Is he going to show up on Raw? Do we know if Roman Reigns is going to return? Chad Gable, LA Knight. Did I make you say it? I hope so. But what a show tomorrow is going to be. And we haven't even cracked anything about some of the major storylines. We've just talked about the major matches. We know that the vision is going to be the big part of the show tomorrow. We know it's Vision versus CM Punk for that title. CM Punk is outnumbered. The question is, who helps him out? And I think somebody will. I do have CM Punk retaining the title tomorrow. I do have CM Punk going into the Royal Rumble as your champion. And I do have Braun Breaker getting the axe to him. But who is going to do that? And that is why I do heavily think it's going to be Roman Reigns. I do think we're going to see some equalizers on CM Punk's end. And it's almost the enemy of the enemy is my friend. And I think that's exactly what you have with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns knows, CM Punk is not exactly my best friend, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So the enemy is CM Punk, but the enemy, you know where I'm going? He has a little bit more disdain for the Vision for Paul Heyman than he does for CM Punk right now, because CM Punk has shown his loyalty over the last 2 War Game matches. So look for the big dog, the tribal chief, to acknowledge his straight edge superstar and help him retain that world heavyweight title. It's not a spoiler. It's just my prediction. I do think Maxine Dupree is going to retain her Intercontinental Championship, and I do think we're lighting ourselves up finally for that first singles match between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. I do believe we're going to get new tag team champions. I do think Rhea Ripley and Io Sky will walk out as your new women's tag team champions. And I think that's okay, because I do think right now the women's division on the tag team side needs a little bit more star power, and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, as much as we know they're great individually, I think right now they just don't need to be in that title picture right now. I think they're much better for the tag division right now, because you need to let people like Jade Cargill and Stephanie Vacquier operate. I think maybe we allow people like Lyra Valkyria an opportunity. Maybe, just maybe, we see a little bit more of the 3 girls in the Judgment Day, and Raquel, Liv, and Roxanne. I do believe that we're going to get Liv Morgan as your women's Royal Rumble winner. And I do believe the WrestleMania match is going to be Stephanie Vacquier versus Liv Morgan at WrestleMania 42. So I do think that's where we slowly go. In fact, I do believe we are going to get Stephanie Vacquier, who just beat Raquel Rodriguez. I do think we're going to go straight into a match with Roxanne Perez, and it's almost like Stephanie Vacquier has to run the gauntlet of the Judgment Day women, and then that's how we get into the Royal Rumble. That's when we find out that it's Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan picks Stephanie Vacquier, and we're off to the races there. Speaking of off to the races, you could be off to the race in podcasting, content creation, and all you have to do is go to turnbucklestudios.org/join. And if you do that, you have an opportunity to let us know what you would want to do. And guess what? We're open. We're open to suggestions. We're open to ideas. We're open to just about everything. So if you need a visual reminder, don't worry. We got you.
A turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
Happy Gilmore said it best. Just give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo. All you have to do is tap in, people. Tap into your inner wants of content creation and podcasting. Go to turnbucklestudios.org/join and just send the ball home. Because we know you're not too good for our home. In fact, Anyway, we got more to talk about. Let's talk about the big news that came out just yesterday. Tommaso Ciampa being rumored that he is not going to renew his contract with WWE and that his contract is expiring relatively soon with the WWE. We did see Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae paired back together in kind of more just them on Friday on Smackdown as Johnny Gargano took on Carmelo Hayes. But what we don't know is that we didn't know why. We kind of thought it was a little weird that Ciampa wasn't there. We know Ciampa and Carmelo Hayes were going after the United States Championship for a bit. Obviously, that was done to help elevate Carmelo Hayes. At kind of the end there, we know he was going after Ilya Dragunov before then. So, yeah, it's unfortunate to lose a guy like Tommaso Ciampa. It really is. Now, nobody knows if he is leaving WWE to pursue another company like AEW, TNA, anywhere else, or whether or not he wants some time away. I do remember that before he did sign his last contract, there was rumors that he was looking at potentially leaving to spend some more quality time at home to watch, just to be with his family and watch his daughter grow up. So it's going to be very intriguing to kind of see, but I'm actually quite happy for the man that we know as Tommaso Ciampa for doing what he wants to do with his life and kind of taking that back. As much as it's going to suck to see DIY no longer there, I am happy for the human being of Tommaso Ciampa just to be in a position where he gets to decide what he does instead of being told, hey, we need you here, we need you that. We do know that he has put a lot of physical damage to his body over the years, especially with some of the feuds that he did have with Johnny Gargano. And whether it is that neck surgery, whether it's the knee surgeries, whether or not it's all the other surgeries, just getting that time to rest is very important too. So all the power to Tommaso Ciampa for making that decision and understanding that he needs that time to himself and time with his family. That's very admirable, and I highly respect Tommaso Ciampa for making that decision. It will just selfishly suck as a fan not seeing him on TV, and whatever he wants to do, I'm going to support because I am definitely a fan of Tommaso Ciampa. But if by chance he is leaving WWE to leave WWE, let me know where you want to see Tommaso Ciampa, because this could open up a world of possibilities, because he could go to AEW and say he has matches with MJF, Kyle Fletcher. Maybe he does some stuff with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I mean, those are all very intriguing matchups for him. So, I mean, who's to say what the future entails? But, I mean, we do know that he did grow up with a lot of those guys in the independent scenes before WWE. So it wouldn't be shocking in any way if that's what he chose to do. So I don't know. But I do know that this leads into a great thing for what I'm going to do in the future, and that is next week's episode. And usually I do this at the end of the show, but I'm not going to do that this time. In fact, I have an announcement at the end of the show that I'm going to make. So I'm going to let you in on a little bit of next week. And that is, even though we have 110 right now for the Chris Parrish podcast, next week is episode 111. And the big one is, do you go here? And if that is any side of, what do you mean? I am going to take 5 wrestlers from the major 3 companies, AEW, TNA, and WWE, and I am going to switch places. I am going to draft them to other shows. And if you know, I'm not going to be biased in any way. I do cover a lot of WWE and primary WWE, but that's not meaning I'm going to saturate the market here. We got 15 people throughout 3 companies, and I'm going to make sure the equal amount of people go to said company. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to tell you why I'm choosing that. It's something different, and it's something that I thought, hey, let's not wait. Let's just jump right into it. It's a new year. Let's have some fun doing something a little different. And so that is next week, episode 111. Do you go here on the Chris Parrish podcast? But right now, we are talking about start your engine. We are getting ready. This is the first episode of the Chris Parrish podcast in 2026. This is the new era in WWE. We just had an amazing 3-hour SmackDown. SmackDown back to 3 hours. That's pretty cool. And then we are setting up and gearing for an amazing Raw tomorrow. And then we ride right into NXT with New Year's Evil. And that is just going to be amazing as well. Also, I thought about this idea. I don't think it's going to happen, but imagine if Chris Jericho debuts in NXT or returns to NXT while Ava Raine is talking. And the first time he joins WWE in 1999, he interrupts The Rock. But when he comes back in 2026, he interrupts The Rock's daughter. Not saying it's going to happen, but how funny would it be if that's something he just does? He just interrupts The Rock's family. It'd be quite funny. Can't help but understand that we are so fortunate of being wrestling fans. Have you seen the rumors going around? We've talked about them. Whether it's Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, all those people. We haven't talked about WWE going back to Puerto Rico. We talked about it on Turnbuckle Talk. We haven't talked about it here. How disgusting is it that WWE is going to all these places? How absolutely disgusting is it that WWE is just slam dunking these places when they go there? How crazy is it? I think it's absolutely fantastic. It makes me want to look at saying, hey, you know what would be really cool? Instead of just going to a show locally or maybe inside, and I want to take a trip, how cool would it be to say, hey, let's go to Puerto Rico? And by the way, while we're at it, let's go to Backlash in Puerto Rico. I mean, what a great time. It gives, if by chance, like this is something you like to do, if you want to go see the world and you're a wrestling fan, you get to combine these now. And I think it's great because one of these days, WWE is going to do a WrestleMania in England. They're going to do a WrestleMania maybe in Japan. These are all now possibilities because WWE is going to do the first ever WWE WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, which I know, not the preferred destination for a lot of people, but you got to start somewhere. And if you're going to Saudi Arabia for one show, it just opens the possibilities of going somewhere else. Also, I believe there's a programming note just to everyone else. The Royal Rumble, if you're wondering what time it's going to be shown in a kind of whether it's on Netflix or anything, yeah, I believe it's 3 p.m. Eastern time is the official time for the Royal Rumble. So just letting everybody know the programming note. I don't know per se what we're doing for the PLE Patrol here on Turnbuckle Studios, but I can tell you that we'll let you know as soon as we know. So make sure that you stay tuned. I also do want to let you know that carlcarafel.redbubble.com is the official mobile store to Turnbuckle Studios and Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. So if you want to check out all of the great merchandising, I do recommend it because I did get myself a nice Chris Pierce Podcast hoodie, and I will tell you it is comfortable. The material is fantastic. The quality of the product for the clothing is great. If you want a phone case because you're just tired of all the same generic stuff you can get in a department store and you're just bored on Amazon, go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com and just slam dunk a TAP logo, a Turnbuckle Studios logo, Saturday Night's Gaming logo, whatever you want, put one of those on your phone and just let everybody know and be like, hey, I support these guys. You should too. But if by chance you're like, you know what, just play the video. I like the video. I don't want to hear you talk. I'll play the video. So enjoy.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
Now, I do want to ask, we did not expect Matt Cardona or Randy Orton on SmackDown. Could there be somebody completely different that we have yet to talk about to return on Raw? I ask because I'm going to pose the question. We did have the comment earlier about Stranger Things tomorrow. Stranger Things for a lot of people. Show that absolutely blew everyone away with the finale that we saw around New Year's. But there are two people that have been always tied to WWE that kind of go around into those Stranger Things. We do know that, they're no stranger to the different world, but they're also no stranger to doing something completely different. And I'm talking about Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Now, if there's one thing that told me about the Matt Cardona thing, he had a bunch of independent dates. He won a lot of independent championships that now he's not going to be able to defend or pursue. Doesn't mean that he is the only one that's going to be happening to. So I'm wondering, could we see the return of Karrion Kross and Scarlett tomorrow on Raw? And would that be something that shakes the foundation of WWE? Nobody really ever knows why WWE let those two go. And to me, that was one of the strangest things I've ever seen in the last little while. When it comes to WWE, we had someone who got over very naturally with the audience and the viewers, and it made a lot of logical nonsense to not want to keep this talent around. And yeah, I'm primarily speaking about Karrion Kross because he is the featured talent out of the two, but Scarlett is such an important piece to the presentation of Karrion Kross that yeah, of course I want Scarlett there. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys all think Karrion Kross Scarlett very well could be a part of that Stranger Thing crossover with Raw. And then I'll throw another name out that I think could very well be there. And I would be very much intrigued on this, and that is Paige Saraya. We have seen her use the Paige theme song on the Indies. Now, a story that did come out was she saying that she did not want to use her AEW theme song that was sung by an ex. But I think there might be something more to it. So, yeah. Especially with CM Punk coming back, with a lot of her friends now in WWE, with everything kind of just changing. I wouldn't be surprised now that a free agent like Saraya, aka Paige, maybe makes a return to WWE. We all know the history with AJ Lee and Paige. I wouldn't be surprised that we see something like that once again on our screens. We're kind of nearing the end of our show, and I did promise you guys an announcement. And right now in that description, you might see something different. Yes, you see a link tree that features Wrestling with Entertainment. And I will let you know that as of last night, I recorded an interview with the channel Wrestling with Entertainment. And if you want to check that out, that now will air on January 14th. So if you want to go and check out Wrestling with Entertainment and help and follow that channel, you can also check out their interviews from the past. But on January 14th, yours truly will be a featured guest on Wrestling with Entertainment. So let me know what you think of that episode. We will definitely rehash that on the show. But if you want to go and check out and support Wrestling with Entertainment, they were kind and gracious enough to have me on their show. I want to personally thank them. So if you want to go and support them, their link tree is in the description on the YouTube and Facebook side, and that is flat out Linktree/Wrestling with Entertainment. So once again, that does it for episode 110. Start your engines. I am absolutely stoked for what 2026 is going to be. I cannot begin to fathom what we're going to expect. 2025, I think, blew everyone's expectation out of the water, and I'm just absolutely intrigued. You've heard me say this word a bunch of times before, but I am giddy. I am revving with excitement. So I am definitely looking forward to 2026. I think big things are going to happen in the world of pro wrestling. I know big things are going to happen right here on the Chris Parrish podcast. So once again, if you want to check out next week's episode, do you go here, episode 111. That's right. Acknowledge the triple ones. We're going to have some fun telling which superstars I am picking to jump brands and why I think they would be a better fit somewhere else. But for the meantime, whether you're checking out the Chris Parrish podcast on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on Twitch, even Instagram, and now Kick, make sure you're supporting the Chris Parrish podcast on Kick. That's right. The name is the Chris Parrish podcast on Kick. We are now on Kick. It is definitely it's going to be a new trial phase we see, but let's try it out. And if you also want to go and check out the Chris Parrish podcast on Spotify, that is another place you can go, as well as it will be uploaded onto TikTok as well. So there's just a lot of platforms. So make sure you're going over the link tree that you see in your bottom corner. It links them all together. It's so much easier. You saw how much breath I take just to say them all. It's a lot easier just to click one thing and they're all right there for you. So once again, I appreciate every single one of you coming in and supporting Chris Parr's podcast. This has been episode 110. Start your engines. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your football regular season. Hopefully your team does well. But in the meantime, I always say, be happy, be healthy, be yourself. Because at the end of the day, you matter. I'll see you next time.
Through the clouds.